about LinkedIn. And so I don't, do we choose an MC to kick us off this week? I don't think we did.
I can do that.
All right, Maria, why don't you lead us through and I'll do the next slide.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Fairfax. It's great to have you with us this morning on Wednesday, on Hump Day. So we are part of the Kaufman Foundation. We work with communities in entrepreneurship and education. We are looking to increase opportunities that allow all entrepreneurs to learn, take risks, and own their success. Next slide. We have a national and local mission. We work towards creating a consistent educational experience, one presenter at a time. All 1 Million Cups meets on every Wednesday at 9 a.m. We are looking to have presentations, not pitches. We're looking for authentic connections, not networking. We run for the community, by the community, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. We want to welcome our visitors. Please raise your hand if it's your first time here. When you're called on, please share your name, your company name, and how you heard about us. And we start with Mansoor. We did a brief introduction at the beginning, but please introduce yourself to the group.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Mansoor Bhatti. I'm with City National Bank. Initially, I heard of 1 million cups when I was in Prince William County, and I was a banker there. And I believe the event was the weekly event was held at a centrifuge in Manassas. I wasn't able to attend, but most recently I met with Jennifer from Fairfax Chamber, and I was going through the website as I joined, and I saw the name, and I'm like, oh wow, second time around, it has to mean something, right? So I saw the name and I clicked, and here I am, and I'm excited to learn new things and what 1 million cups is all about.
I see a new name, Ramesh.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Ramesh. I'm the COO of Prima Medicine, a local network of medical practices in Fairfax County and Dalton County. And I came to know about this through the Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. So I thought this is a very cool thing. So I was curious to find out and participate.
Thanks, Ramesh. And Mansoor, appreciate you guys being here the first time. So we are trying to get our attendees to 30 people a day every time we meet. If you can please scan the QR code and sign in, that will help us with 1 Million Cups headquarters to show that participation and engagement with our community. All right. So 1 Million Cups, this is a group effort. We are a group of organizers that works hard behind the scenes to bring this important meeting to our community. We also have brand ambassadors and the support of Veterans Growing America and Fairfax County Economic Development Authority. We have two sponsors. We have our location sponsor, which is George Mason Enterprise Center in Fairfax. Eddie Hill leads the Enterprise Center over there. They are a business incubator located in Fairfax on Eaton Place, and they have mentors along with meeting space, podcast room and small and medium-sized small incubator offices. If you want more information, please don't hesitate to contact Eddie. He is a wonderful resource and ready to help in any of your business needs. And our coffee sponsor this month is BizUps with AJ Sahar. AJ, please take it on.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. And good morning, 1 Million Cups. I'm AJ from BizApps. Now imagine your marketing running on autopilot, converting visitors into customers. That's what exactly we deliver at bizappsforme.com. See, many companies get stuck with disconnected ads, videos, and campaigns that just don't deliver. And we fix that. At BizApps, you get a suite of AI-powered tools, tactics, and strategies, all built to work together. So we turn physical and digital touchpoints into interactive, measurable, high-impact market assets. And the result is higher engagement, better conversions, clear ROI, and campaigns that scale instead of stall. So whether you are in retail, real estate, nonprofit, or anything else, we have something for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. So how our meetings work. We are a professional group and we expect professional behavior. We are here to help each other and support us in our entrepreneurial journey. Please mute yourselves during the presentation, and then we will have a couple of breakout rooms and opportunities to do a dive into LinkedIn profiles from you guys. So we're going to take a couple of participants, personal profiles, and business profiles to talk about and review by our beautiful Jen Dalton.
Thank you. John Foster unfortunately could not be here today. He is also extremely well versed in LinkedIn. So please do reach out to him, send him good wishes today as well. It was just a last minute thing that came up. So he's like, hey, guess what? You get to present the whole thing. And I'm thrilled. I think we underestimate the value of LinkedIn, especially when it comes to thinking about how do we leverage it. People often talk about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Sure. And I think LinkedIn is such a untapped resource. So I'm going to present for 10 minutes. And guess what? We're not going to cover everything. That's okay. What I'd like to share is some key things, some ways to think about personal and company profiles. And then, as Maria said, anyone who would like to be constructively and gently judged, I would be happy to look at your personal LinkedIn profile and company page. And ask the group to chime in too on what's their impression, what could be tweaked, and then I'll give you also sort of tactical things that you can do as well. So with that, I'm going to give an example, and James Lawson can tell Ange that I'm using his wife's profile. One of the reasons we need LinkedIn and to have a very good keyword-driven profile, just like you would have for your website, is that it does drive results on Google. So one of the things that will put your personal profile to the top of search will be making sure you've got the right information on your profile. And so if you were looking for someone, let's say, hey, I met Angela last night, but I didn't get a chance to get a business card, but I was at a Reston Chamber event, I could just Google Angela Anzarillo Reston, and here we go. So keep in mind, especially if you're a startup, maybe you don't have a company website yet, even if you do, your personal LinkedIn profile will often be one of the first things that come up. Now, Angela has a very unique name. Some of us, like Jen Dalton, have a very common name. However, it still matters. Your profile will still show up. Okay. And by the way, if you ask a question in chat, I've got chat open. I'll keep an eye on it. I'm going to keep this really simple. These are the questions I want you to think about as we head into this presentation, but also sort of the discussion afterwards. First, I'd love for you to think about, and maybe you have, but I'd love for you to write it down. Who are your audiences on LinkedIn? It's not the world. I want you to think about 3 to 5 unique, specific audiences. Maybe it is CPAs who support law practices. I'm making that up completely. Maybe it's estate planning attorneys. Maybe it is people on boards, because maybe you're looking for a board role. But think about who are your unique audiences on LinkedIn. Oftentimes people write their LinkedIn profile for themselves, as opposed to who's going to come look at your profile. What words would they use to find your profile? And so when we think about these unique audiences, then I want you to think about what are their goals. They have problems we want to solve for them. And are we making sure that your profile talks about you in a way that someone goes, oh, you know what? I've been trying to do a CRM for a decade. You know what? John Rudenberg looks like he can help me. Okay. And so really think through these. By the way, most of the things I come up with are to manage myself. They just happen to also work for all other entrepreneurs. This is what we want people to know. We want to think about, what do they need to know when they come to your profile? What do we want them to feel when they come to your profile? And then what do we want them to do? A lot of times people will make a profile, but there's no link to a website. There's no call to action. There's no case study. There's no video. There's nothing that helps provide information on what do we need them to know, feel, or do. And I'm going to go into that a bit more in a second. But I think oftentimes, even if you're in a conversation with someone, we don't think about those 3 things. I might meet with James Lawson and be like, James, do this. What I really should be thinking about is, well, what does James know or not know? How can I help him there? What does he feel? Is he feeling anxious because he is worried about his personal brand? And does his Scottish accent make people like him more or not? That could be a real question. And I could tell him, well, James, this is what we can do to help you. So when we think about communication, know, feel, and do. Something important. And the accent totally helps. So I'm just going to answer that for you. So next, I think of LinkedIn. A lot of times people are like, how long should I be on LinkedIn? How much time should I spend? It really is dependent on what you want to accomplish and how efficient you are. Some people are on LinkedIn for an hour, a whole month. That's it. They go on, they scroll, they occasionally post something, but they're liking everything all the time. Oh, I like what Melanie said. Oh, I like what Brad said. Oh, I like that post. And maybe they check results. Actually, you know what? Raise your hands. How many of you look at your LinkedIn metrics? Okay, so 2/3, almost all of them. I can't see some people, but good. And there are some key metrics you should look at, right? You should look at how many followers you have, how many impressions. You could look at engagement. You can also look at things like who went and looked at my profile. If you pay a dollar amount, you can do that. I'll talk about that in a second. But you can also pay to see how much, or you can look and see how many times are you showing up in search. I will show you in just a second. I will come back to that. If this is the case, I want you to think about, if you're only going in once a month, at least look at your metrics. That's like the bare minimum. More people tend to be doing, hey, I'm on there an hour a week. I'm scanning, I'm posting, I'm commenting, I'm not just liking. Maybe they're monitoring weekly. Some of the metrics are a 7-day metric. You should be looking weekly. Some are 90 days. Some are, you can put in a time frame. And again, I think just think through, just like you would have a marketing plan for Facebook, or I put an event, how many people attended. We want to have the same metrics for LinkedIn. You know, if you have a new product you're launching, I want to post about it once a week. Great. Did more people see it this month or last month? We want to have a plan. And then for your company page, same thing. How often are you going in to update your company page? Most people, and the data shows, and I'm not saying this is what you need to do. I'm a big fan of quality over quantity. Some people are like, oh, I'm posting every day. Sure, and it could be not really great content. Like, do it with intention. If I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to comment or post. I really want to make sure if I say something, it's worth saying. So I'll show you these reports in a second, but I think it's important to consider, if you only have 10 minutes a week or 10 minutes a month, make it really good. I would not want you to go on there for 3 hours a week and not get any results. if that's not the right outcome. And if you're feeling stuck, just grab time with me. I love LinkedIn. I'm happy to talk through it. Some of these are pretty standard, and yet some people still don't use them. The top of your LinkedIn profile is called the top box. It needs to work for you while you're out networking and doing and running your business. You can do things like a custom banner. You can have a custom URL. You should have keywords that drive your headline. Those keywords need to be things that when people put it in search, it shows you, like they need to be search phrases that someone who needs you would use, not what you would use, right? But if you know your clients well, what words are they using to find you? And you can see different people are using their banners to really make that first impression. People spend about 3 to 6 seconds here, so make it important and make it something that they go, oh, I want to scroll further. And if you haven't made a unique URL or a unique banner, think about that, because I've got the website here. I can scan a QR code and book a session. So again, it's just a missed opportunity if you don't put something there. We don't want it to be distracting, but we do want it to be additive. So the know, feel, and do. Here's some more details in that. If you were to update your LinkedIn profile so it said what you do, how you do it, do you have a process? Do you have a framework? And why you do it? People might be more inclined to know, like, and trust you sooner. So think about that. In your profile, do you talk about the outcomes and what you actually do for someone, how you do it, and why you do it? The second is the feel. I want someone, if they come to, let's say, Michael Butera's page, we want them to know he is the guy for associations, for strategy for associations, for leadership development and growth in associations, or growth in associations. So he should have on his profile what he's good at, examples of how he helps them, and are you worth getting to know? And the answer is yes, of course. Everyone should know Michael Butera. But I know exactly, right? Yay. I know exactly what Michael does. The last thing is do. What do you want them to do next? They're going to come to your profile. Now what? Are you going to give them a form to fill out? Are they going to go to your website? Do you want them to book a call with you? Most people have a Calendly or a schedule tool. Is that available? So just think through what that looks like. I have a couple more slides and then we'll be done. If you have some evidence, I think building your brand on LinkedIn is all about evidence. Are you using the featured section to show your evidence? Do you change it out for the latest and greatest information? I call it the 4 I's that are not about you. We want to inform people. We want to inspire people. We want to influence, and we want to ignite. Now, if most of you are like, do I talk about myself on LinkedIn? Yes. And 90% of the time, I'm talking about other people and other organizations because that builds your brand too. Brand association, but also shows you recognize others, you do things. How many of you are speakers or authors? Anybody raise their hand if they're a speaker or an author? You'll notice on my profile, I have author and speaker as a separate thing. These titles drive search results. So if you haven't optimized your titles, these are really simple things to go and do. I would absolutely recommend you do that. Now, one thing I think people also forget to do is create opportunity. Several years ago, I was working with a client, and the Washington Business Journal had an article that was relevant to their business model. And it was front page because I still get that as a paper. And I called my client. I said, hey, there's a front page article. We need to go write a post on LinkedIn, tag the author and the publication. This was in December. And what happened? They got featured in January for free in the Washington Business Journal as a response to that article. So if you're trying to be a thought leader or shape an industry or just have dialogue, this is a really powerful way to do that. All right, if you're not sure if you want to do the personal brand or let me look at your page, we're coming up on that, so mentally prepare. And I'll share these slides if you would like. When I think about what do I put on my personal page versus the company page, they're different. They overlap a teeny bit, but they're different. If I'm an individual, if I'm Brad, I'm going to say, hey, I went to this great networking event, or I'm going to this conference, can't wait to see the speaker. but the company might say, hey, we're going to feature Brad. He's on a panel, or he went to this event, or he represented the company. Even if you're a solopreneur, right? Like you're bigger than just a solopreneur. You might recognize someone as an individual. Your company page might do a shout out to a partner, right? There are different ways, and this is actually a real client. I just have removed their name, but think about, what do you want you as the founder or your employees to post versus the company? By the way, posts by your employees or by your people get 540 plus more visibility. So if you're not doing employee branding on LinkedIn, you should be. All right. So raise your hand if you want to be judged. I'm going to stop sharing. Brad's like, judge me. One of my favorite things to do. All right, Brad, I'm going to pull up your profile. And if you want to drop your name in chat.
Yeah, I'll just drop the link if that works for everyone to the profile.
Yeah, because when I type your name in, you're not the first person that comes up. So please.
Wonder
So,
if my website's the first to come up.
well, when I type Brad Humlin LinkedIn, you're not the first.
Came up for me, and that goes back to the whole personalized search result issues.
Yes. And so, Colleen, to answer your question while Brad's putting his LinkedIn profile in chat, it is better to comment on a post and then share and comment again. So when you're on LinkedIn, let's say John Norris gave a really great talk on Medicare and you attended for some lucky reason. You would want to comment on his post and say, wow, John Norris gave such a great talk. And then you would want to share that original post and comment it on as well. All right, so we can all click on Brad's link. I'm going to share my screen. All right, based on first impression, what do you think Brad does? What do you know about him?
Content related to farming.
Content related to farming. Farming content. Okay, anybody else? Maybe he just likes farmland.
Maybe Brad lives in the country.
Yeah.
Real
Brad's like,
estate?
ding, 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 winner. Probably, was that?
Real estate?
Real estate. So, one thing to keep in mind is that we make up our own stories. And so we need to give people the right words to help them know exactly what we want them to know. Probably it's like, sorry, Brad. So, if you wanted to put in something either in your headline or think about changing your background banner. Or I love the country. This is where I live. I don't know, whatever. I wouldn't put that, but I would think about that visual, right? Is 10,000 words. We always talk about pictures worth 1,000 words. It's already shaped a lot of people looking at your profile.
Is there a good template for this type of like a LinkedIn banner that you can?
I use Canva, and if you search
Okay.
in the design in Canva, there's a LinkedIn banner size.
Perfect. Who
And
doesn't use
so,
Canva?
yeah, a lot of times I'll put the same banner on the company page as I do here, or I'll craft one. So, like, for example, this is mine. I've got telepathy is not a strategy. Everybody knows I say that. If you don't, you do now. And my website. You can think about what you want to put here. Maybe it's, hey, top 5 pieces of content that are trending right now. Right? It could be something informative. It doesn't necessarily have to be, and you can change it when you want. Some people change it if they have an upcoming event, etc. What kind of content?
That's a good question. Historically, I wrote in the education sphere, but it's one of those things where I'm currently looking for new opportunities, and this might explain why my LinkedIn job applications have been going into the abyss. So it just I'm having trouble finding a header that isn't too long that encapsulates me.
Don't be afraid to talk about yourself. We need to give LinkedIn the words we want for people to find us.
Hey, Brad, you say it in your about. You say I'm a passionate communicator. I mean, if that's what you believe you are, I'm not a recruiter or anything, but just seems
Yeah.
common sense.
Also,
You
I
could
was
just-
taught to just stuff that thing with keywords, like let it be long. And I use pipes. So when Jen showed that few examples, one of the examples she showed was someone just using keyword after keyword after keyword with pipes and not trying to tell a narrative like a sentencing narrative, but just a narrative through keywords.
Yeah. Thank you, Colleen. Yes, pipe stems are great. You have the about, you have your top skills. That's great. Love that. You've got some featured pieces. I might think about renaming them. Like, why? What does this mean? Now, if it's something you wrote, then give it a zingy title. People have we all have very limited focus, right? We need to read something quick and it needs to make sense. But I love that you're using your featured. You posted 10 months ago, so I might want to know, like, hey, if you're trying to show you're active in creating content, this evidence would make me think that you're not. At least not on LinkedIn. So just something to think about. Now you can share content about who are some of your favorite writers. What's the latest Gallup research on content? I mean, or any other marketing agencies. It doesn't always have to be about you, and it shouldn't be. I love that you have your portfolio. I might put some keywords here, like what kind of content, because you have teachers, technical education. I would put that in your header. Sometimes companies don't have a company page, which is why these logos aren't there, which is why as a person who has a business, you definitely want a logo to be there. This is not yours, I know, but just in general. I would also recommend going back and rewriting some of these to build an arc about your experience.
Okay.
Sometimes we write content and we miss the opportunity to go back and shape the narrative. Like, why did they go on this crazy career journey? I love that you've got this filled out in your content. You've got licenses and certifications. Love that you have projects. This is a really good one. You can use keywords on projects. And this is just more evidence and keywords to get people to your profile. So if anybody's not using projects, highly recommend it. Your skills drive search results a ton. So if your top 10 skills are not, like, I don't see content here yet. I probably do if I expand this. Actually, here, I would reorganize your skills so the top 3 are really your top 3. Usually top 10 works. If you have 40, no offense, Brad, but like that's too many skills.
Okay.
I would guarantee that some of them are outdated and you're not using them anymore. The ones you think you really need to show, it might be 20, it could be 40, but you definitely want your top 10 to be really good and your top 5 to be crystal clear and these be absolutely visible. I love that you have recommendations. If you can get 5 or more, you move up in search.
Okay.
So just something to think about. You've got great content, great publications, courses. You've done a fantastic job filling out your profile. But I think that clarity on the first impression, and I would wager going back in and looking at the descriptions of your outcomes and impact and your experience section probably needs to be improved. Now, one thing you will see, AI is embedded a lot more on LinkedIn. You can always see if AI would write something more interesting. As a content creator, I would hope that you could write that, but it's okay to ask for help.
I have a question, Jen.
Yeah, please.
Sh- should the headshot be more of a professional one?
What do you guys think? I mean, Brad looks friendly. It looks approachable.
As long as it's not busy in the background, and I don't think the brick is busy. I think that you can get away with something like that. I've done a lot of headshots for people, taking them out into the garden and just using black, green behind them or something, or brown behind them.
Well, my first impression would be he's in construction because I see brick. I'm just saying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Again,
a professional headshot from my former employer, actually.
I thought so. Yeah. I think it looks good. Again, sometimes if people have a background that's not what we want per se, I'll drop it in Canva and remove the background and just try it out.
Nice.
Yeah. But I actually like your headshot. I think it's good. But again, everybody interprets everything differently. So the more we can be clear on the words we use and the photos we use to help, the better.
I got a quick question on skills and other types of things. And I know I need to update my LinkedIn profile because I wrote it years ago. Skills you used to get because people would say you're good at certain things.
Yep.
So, I mean, I've got probably over 100 skills that are on the list with everything that maxed out at the 50 or 100 or whatever it was back then.
Yep.
Am I better off starting over again with everything? I mean, I need a header. I've got sailboats behind me.
I mean, what I would think about for everybody on the call, what are your top 10 skills that you really want to show up now? Sometimes you don't want to delete stuff. It still might be relevant. And part of what LinkedIn used to do, and I think they still do, which is problematic, is they would present your profile to someone and say, hey, AJ, is Jen really good at ballroom dancing? Now, I was in college, but that was a long time ago. But AJ may be like, yeah, I like Jen. I'm just going to click endorse. Right. And now you've endorsed me for something I don't want, but it was either in my profile or LinkedIn thinks it should be. So that's why it's important to take agency and go in and fix your skills. All right. Metrics. Let me just show you these. So when you're on your profile, this is, by the way, the unique URL. You should totally make it your name and not the numbers. I would go in and look at your analytics. And so when we go in to look at analytics, and I do have premium, I have 6,000 followers. In the last 7 days, I showed up 162 times. 333 profile viewers. Post impressions are down because I was a little bit of a slacker. What I would say is LinkedIn will tell you, hey, are you doing the things you should? Because they want you to use the platform. Are you posting? Are you commenting? Because they do improve your visibility. For some of you, if you want to do LinkedIn live video, that is definitely a hot thing, and video is great. Just do it with intention and be clear on what it's for. Newsletters on LinkedIn, those have taken off a lot where you can publish your own newsletter. So if you were doing a newsletter, let's say MailChimp or something else, and it's not really working for you, it might be worth looking at a newsletter here. What I would say is you can go in and look at your impressions. You can look at which ones are performing, which ones aren't. You can look custom the last 90 days. You can look at engagement. How many reactions, comments, link engagement, etc. So again, if you're going to do something, I would really try to make sure that it's converting for you. You can also look at demographics. 30% of my audience, senior level, 18% are 1 to 10 employees, majority in the DC area. So you can look at this and go, hey, the right people are looking for me. If this looked like sales analyst, construction manager, I'd be like, okay, the wrong people are finding my profile. So play around and click through and see what industries are finding you. Like, Brad, are education industries looking at you? Are ed tech companies looking at you? Are academic institutions looking for you? You can start to get a sense of who's looking at you and why. All right, who would like me to look at their profile next?
You can go ahead and bring my personal one up. That's me.
Good job so far. That's your headshot. So what do we think? First impression.
He's a speaker.
Speaker, what else?
Could be influencer.
Yeah.
Very credible.
Very professional.
He cleans up well.
He cleans up well. And he's really clear. Ready your association for what's next. And the many futures organizations face. I might work on the what's capitalized, and we might be able to convey that, but this speaks to the what, like the know, right? The know, feel, and do. What do I know he does? What am I feeling? If I run an association and I'm anxious about our current environment, membership is dropping, revenue is dropping, Michael can help me. He writes, he has a blog, he has over 4,000 followers. Yeah, big deal over here. Immediate call to action. You can go to his company page or personal website for speaking. Talks about giving a keynote in case you wanted to do that. Michael is very active on LinkedIn. I love it. I think it's interesting how you have these here. Case study, case study. What do you guys think about that?
Shows a lot of experience. It's really good.
Should it go into featured?
I think you should go into features.
I might do like a really nice,
projects.
yeah, I might do a really nice slideshow video or a PowerPoint and turn it into something that you can just swipe through as a case study or a one-pager. That could be attached here in your profile. It also could be in your featured section. Sometimes when you start putting more than 2 things in here, the featured section gets kind of crowded. But I might rotate through or think about as you are heading into the end of the year, what's a case study that association leaders would care about? Maybe you send them to your website to download it. Maybe you say, hey, call me to talk through it. But I agree. This is an interesting way to show it. I don't know if people will click through it, but these could be also a blog header or blog title, and you could turn it into a blog. So one thing I think sometimes people don't do is you can look at people's articles, basically their blogs. These can be really helpful pieces of content. And again, often under leveraged. Yeah, you've got good recommendations. I'd love to get one from this year. Great honors and awards. Maxwell leadership. I would also put out some leadership quotes and things like that. I think you do, but I would be intentional in how you're planning your content. All right, which company page? I think we've talked about this before. You don't have a company page for your speaking.
Right.
You do have one for Activision. And you have 273 followers. That's not bad. Have you thought about doing ads?
Yes.
Have you done them or just thought about it?
Mostly thinking.
That's a good place to start. Thinking is good. What I would say is that, like, I'm on a giving circle and we had a grant application window. And so for the last 2 weeks of the grant application, I ran an ad, $250, and it drove 70 people to our website. And we went from 3 applicants to 20.
That's good.
And so ads don't have to be very expensive, which is also what I like about LinkedIn. If anybody needs help just building that, let me know. But it's very good at targeting on titles, demographics, keywords, all of that. And you can put in like your segment and see how many there are and how much it would cost to get in front of them before you ever pay $1. So it's actually really helpful. Company page wise, it looks like your company page is sharing your content.
Yes, it does.
Do you ever post just on the company page or just reinforcing your post?
Rarely.
Okay. I might think about, are there other things you want your company to post? Because these followers, I'm sure, do overlap with you personally, but they might not. So you might want to give them something different to look at on your company page. You could put your case studies here and do a much deeper dive. Just something to think about.
Okay.
That way your company looks bigger,
Mhm.
which sometimes can be helpful as a solopreneur. Other thoughts? What do you guys think?
The banner can be improved.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's pretty.
It is.
Actually, it's
just-
about to be improved. I just started working on it, so
Oh, good. One thing I would say is for anybody who is trying to get business with certain companies, etc., go follow their company page, set an alert. So now anytime Michael posts something, I will get a little ping. So if you're trying to do business development or stay on top of what someone is doing, you can follow their personal page or you can connect with them, which is better. But you can also follow their company page and get alerts. So just something to think about. Now your company page can also post articles or video. So again, strategize on which evidence do you want where. I'll give an example. At Georgetown Entrepreneurship, they post a lot of content. Sometimes it's knowing who, like Margarita was part of the Georgetown Entrepreneurship Program. She actually has pitched at 1MillionCups in the past. She's gotten some huge deals. Now she is actually at Capital One Arena serving Masconadas, which is super cool. But Georgetown just shared this to their page. It wasn't really a heavy lift. Somebody else already made the content. This was something they were at an event this week, DC Startup Week. Ted Leonis was the keynote. So they just shared that. And at the same time said, by the way, come to Bark Tank. So we can make our content do more than one thing if we want. So I would think about, again, what evidence does your company need to show if someone wanted to hire you versus your company? There's different things you might want to have from a credibility standpoint. So just something to think about. Any other guests want me to look at their profile?
Question.
Yeah, AJ.
So if commenting on somebody's post, should you be the first one or the last one? Which one gets hired more?
You be the 13th, AJ. No, I think what's more important is that when you comment, it's a genuine comment. You tag them, and then you share the whole post. So I think, as we're looking at commenting, sometimes I find people just use the LinkedIn, hey, congratulations. I think it's more important to write a comment that's personal, that shows you know someone or you understand what's happened. And then you look like you genuinely took a moment, not just the regular congrats. I mean, like my cousin's birthday is today, so I went on Facebook, it prompted happy birthday, and then I wrote like 3 more sentences. Right? So it's okay to start with some help, but like make it your own. All right, Prabmeet, as soon as I typed in your name, you came up. And now we're connected.
That's because we probably are connected.
We are now. We weren't. I apologize. We are now. All right, first impressions.
She's a techie.
Yeah, a fancy pants techie.
Tight and clear.
I mean, Harvard, all these certifications, I don't know what they are, but they look good. I have to zoom in closer. But they do mean something to whoever is going to hire Prabmeet.
Jen, on the looking at this particular header up there, I find the font on the those March, right there. That's a little hard for me to read. I don't know about everybody else. What do you think about those kind of issues? Using the right font and so forth and so on. I found that hard to read.
Just because we all are starting to wear progressives, Michael Butera. I don't know what you're pointing out. I agree, right? I do think you want to check it here, and you also want to check it on your mobile device.
Okay.
And so they're not too bad, but they are tiny. Would it be better to take those off? Maybe. But yes, we have 5 generations visiting your LinkedIn profile, so act accordingly.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, but I can read it, but again, I am also zoomed in to 150%. If I went out to 100%, it's much tinier. I don't normally have it at 150 just in case anyone's like, you are blind. Yeah, I'm doing that for you guys. So yeah, even at 100, it actually is quite tiny to read. So Michael, you're spot on.
No, you're right. It's just that when you start seeing it yourself so many times, you're reading it all the time. So, yep.
That's why we ask people to help us, because doing it on your own, we're too close to it.
Bold might also help just to have it come out or a little
Yeah,
bit.
you could, yep. And again, you might want to, it depends. Like if all of that same stuff is here, then do you want it? You could repeat it in the banner, but you don't have to. You could expand this header and get rid of this, and it's a little bit less cluttered.
Got it. Thank you.
Busy. I don't mean to say clutter, but less busy. You have a good about. You might want to turn some of it into bullets. I'm going to be mean for a second, prop mean, and I adore you. I hope you're results driven.
Got it.
Right? So what I would
Got it.
say is have a really interesting hook at the beginning of your about. Like why does AI matter? Why does what you do matter? Is there a data or statistic, that you could put in there?
There's plenty. Yep.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like if anybody says results driven or problem solver, I'm like, yeah, I hope so. Otherwise you're causing trouble. Um, I think you're so much better than that, so it doesn't do you justice. So I would think about how do you want to reframe that?
Okay.
You could put a really interesting data point on digital transformation and either challenges or failures or successes, but something that someone goes, oh, I totally need to talk with Ramit. Love that you have your services section and someone can easily request help. The feature looks great. And you can see there's engagement and visibility. Again, you can have quite a few pieces of content. So I would think about what are the top 2 or 3 things.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I was debating of how much featured, like how long can you put that out there, or should you put that out there?
I will put I'll put events, at least one event up there, but every month or so I'm doing a different talk. So I'll change it out when it's necessary.
Okay.
I mean, except for Michael's Botero's podcast, I'm going to leave that up there forever. For the activity, again, pick a cadence that works. I've worked with people who, started a Twitter account 5 years ago and have never used it. And I'm like, please delete it.
Yeah, no, the cadence, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
That's something I need to improve.
And just, I would put it on your calendar. And sometimes you can still be like, meh, I don't feel like it. But try to do at least once a week. If you're like I'm speaking today, so I tried to make sure I'd posted a couple of times in the last week. Sometimes I'm just like, there's life outside of LinkedIn. But I do think it's good to post and be visible. What I would say here, like I would make an opening that says, here's who we work with, right?
Got it.
These are the top challenges our last 5 clients faced and how we helped them. So I think storytelling, which I haven't brought this up, telling a story is very important. Paint a picture for what are the challenges that you help people with? What kind of engagements do you do? And make it really simple for someone to go, yes, I want to talk to Brett.
Thank you.
Yep. And then Novamorph. So let's just look at your company page for a second. So I would,
it's pretty bare, but go ahead. I want to know.
well, I would just fix your banner. It's not centered, so I can read it. And by the way, LinkedIn banners, sometimes the sizing is a pain in the butt. So I will tend to put stuff a little bit smaller because I can always zoom in on the LinkedIn banner itself. So again, sizes and changing, images changing, that happens all the time. It's really challenging. Same thing on the company page. Your last post was 10 months ago. So I would just think about if you're trying to be relevant, just decide what cadence works for you. It can be once a month. It can be once every 2 weeks. But don't say every day, because then you're going to be like, I hate Jen Dalton. She said every day. I don't want you to do that, right? I want you to think about what do we actually have time to do well, and then start there. All right. Other questions before we flip back to wrapping up? I can probably look at one more profile. James Lawson, you're awfully quiet.
I've got a quick question, and it's how deep should your history of who you've worked for and what you've done be on your profile? Because people are really looking of what you can do for me today.
I think it depends, right? I've had some people who are trying to get back into, not right now, but in the past, get back into the State Department, and they worked there 20 years ago. They should have that on their profile. But like your resume, 15 to 20 years, unless it's something that's relevant to what you're trying to do next. Because if you start to put longer, there is ageism. It is a thing. Basically, if you're 35, you're old. If you're older than 35, it is harder to get a job. I'm going to be totally transparent. So yeah, if you were trying to pivot, luckily we're pretty much all entrepreneurs, but just something to think about. Other questions?
For what it's worth, Jen, I'm deliberately being quiet.
Oh, I know.
I don't want to get picked on.
That's good practice. Yeah, no.
Yeah, James, you're always going to get picked on. Well, you can be quiet or not be quiet.
I know.
I only pick on people I like, or compliment people I like. So actually, I guess I like all of you.
That takes me out of the equation.
One of my favorite people.
You got time for one more? Do you want to bring mine up with a quick scan on it?
Yeah.
One of the questions I always have is about the recommendation section.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how much weight that thing carries, and by the thing that really annoys me with LinkedIn is that you can't actually export it, which is really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, how much weight does it really carry, in your opinion? And I know it's just an opinion.
Well, I think there's two reasons it matters. One is that historically, and algorithms change, for sure, having at least 5 recommendations moves you up in search. So from a search standpoint, yes, and I would try to have more recent ones, because the other thing is if people do go to your profile, these are testimonials. So the other thing I would say is, as important as it is to have received, which you've received 38, you've given 12. And the last time you gave one was 2021. So, and I'm weird, but I actually go look at the given to see how much are people giving versus taking, because that tells me about someone too. A lot of times it's like, oh yeah, I can give. But I would say, they are important. I do recommend drafting. So like if I were to write you a recommendation, James, I would reach out to you and say, hey, James, here's my draft. Do you want me to tweak anything?
Right.
And then you could say, oh my gosh, Jen, you're amazing. Can you put this word instead of this one? Because this is resonating with clients right now. And I would say, absolutely. And then I would submit that and you would still have to accept it.
Yeah.
That does a couple of things. One, if I wanted to reconnect with you for whatever reason, that gives me a way to reconnect with you. I'm giving you value. And two, I'm thinking about what you actually want. Sometimes people ask for a recommendation and they're just kind of blah. So whether you're giving one or asking for one, drafting it is helpful.
Okay, cool.
The other thing is if somebody writes one here, you can use it for testimonials in your marketing, depending on what it is, right? So
sure.
There's a couple of reasons why I do think it's important.
Yeah, again, it's one of those areas where, like most areas on LinkedIn, for me, I'm very lazy at.
Just LinkedIn?
So I'm lazy on. I go through peaks with LinkedIn, like I get super engaged, and I think and I honestly believe it's one of these things that for people who aren't on LinkedIn a lot, and you're like, yeah, look at the engagement part.
Yeah.
Spend 2 weeks and get really engaged.
Yeah.
And look at your analytics, and then stop,
100%.
and then stop for a week.
Yep.
And it drops off a cliff.
Yes.
It's amazing. And so, yeah.
Absolutely. If you guys can drop into chat, what's a takeaway from today? Something you didn't know that you've learned. Hopefully everybody has at least one thing. Again, LinkedIn has a ton going on. They also do a lot of testing, A/B testing. So some people will have features that others don't. But it is a good platform. So yeah, if you can drop in chat, this is how you could help us today. Oh, I'm happy to critique all the time. Happy to follow up one-to-one. I love going through these. It is your personal website marketing you on your behalf while you're busy. And so we just want to put your best foot forward. I'm going to turn it back over to Maria, the beautiful Maria.
Thank you again. And for next week, we have Joe Rajendran with Financial Growth Partners presenting his challenge question. Next slide, please. Here are our coming events. We'll be dropping them in chat.
Is
pretty
someone else
soon.
coming?
Let me see if I can do that. So next, our schedule is doing much better than before. We're very happy for that. Thanks everybody for scheduling and inviting people. We are scheduling, it seems like for November. If you know
November,
anybody,
November's full, so
or
December.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you know anybody or would like to present, come back and present again, we will welcome you. We'd love to hear from you and help you as we start where we close this year to prepare you for next. These are our social media links. If you scan this QR code, we have a link tree that takes you to all our links in one place. Next slide, please. Stick around for a little while. We have about 5 more minutes before the end of the hour. We would love to hear more feedback, and kudos to Jen Dalton for all the great information that we received today.